What is up, everybody? This is Goodman, and I am signing back on for another video. Now, I am sitting here staring out of my window into the winter wonderland that is Alabama right now. There's someone driving by in a four-wheeler. It's not that bad here. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 inches outside of snow. It's all melting right now because it's like 38 degrees-ish. So it will freeze over tonight. Then we'll have a lot of ice, and it'll be great. So I think we have some friends coming over for dinner. For some random reason, and it should be a good little night. So I like these days. This is a Friday, so to all my tenants that are like, where is Goodman? Why isn't he out here fixing my things? It's a snow day. I get snow days, don't I? Am I allowed to have snow days? Anyway, this video is all about showers and shower controls, and also using your brain instead of just throwing new parts at things. We have the mechanics that do that kind of stuff. We have the guys in the houses that do that kind of stuff. And while it is easier to do it that way, you might still have a problem of the actual problem that needs to be fixed is never fixed. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Always looking at Big Bertha, or whatever you want to call this truck. I don't know, really. Mahmood with me on this part of the journey. So there's 2 parts of this journey. It is the part of trying to fix this thing, thinking I know what I'm doing, and then the second part is actually fixing it. So with this first part, we've got these guys. We got new stems that we're going to put in there. I almost said stem cells. I don't know why, but anyways, new stems that we're going to put into the shower, because the problem is we're hearing this noise, this shh noise whenever we turn the water on, and so I'm like, okay, well, it probably just needs new stems, and we're having leaking problems. Leaking problems in this area, and it wasn't stopping. There was a constant drip in the bath. So I'm like, okay, cool. We're gonna take this out. We're gonna fix this thing. We're gonna change out the stems. It'll be pretty easy. You can buy the stems at Home Depot for most of these things. For like Fisher and all this stuff. I don't know what is going on here of why we're sitting in one spot for like 50 seconds. Okay, doesn't matter. We're gonna keep going. So thanks, Colby, for that. Anywho. You can always find these cartridges. Very, very simple to find them. They're usually at Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever. You might have to go between the two to find exactly what you want. Home Depot usually has a better selection. You can also go to your local plumbing house. They will have everything. I've gotten the most esoteric cartridge on the planet from like a 1940s like shower, and they had it. And the guy was like sitting there smoking. It's a really small, dingy place. You just tell them what you want, and they go get it for you. You pay the money, and you're gone. Out in Bessemer. Great place. Haven't been there in years, but it's fantastic. Guy's probably dead. Anywho, so we're going to get all the new stems in here. We got the new diverter. We got the hot and the cold stem that we're going to put in here, and hopefully this will fix the problem. Now, again, like I said, throwing parts at stuff is one thing. This is not technically throwing parts at it. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, hey, these stems are old. Let's change them out. Throwing parts would be switching out the entire control module, the control valve, whatever you want to call it, which is what I do here in a second. Because when we get these stems on, right, the reason why I'm doing all this also, I forgot to say, there was so much backfill of like junk in the water lines. Like we had to take the water line off the toilet and just blow it into a bucket to get all the trash out of it. And then the same thing had to be done with the shower. I got everything off of the shower and let the water just blow through the control valve to get all the sediment and stuff out of it. It was crazy. Like it was just completely clogged. So that was actually, I forgot, that's the reason why we started this, was because of that sediment buildup. If ever you're having that trouble, first take off strainers. Like if you're talking with a sink, take off the strainers. I've been having this problem though in Birmingham a lot lately, is that I have to actually take the water lines out and then let them just spray into a bucket to get all the sediment out. Sometimes I have to actually replace the water lines themselves, like from an actual like shut off to the faucet or whatever it is, because of just how much buildup there is. It is absolutely crazy. The house next door right there, the white one, they just moved out. Horrible move out. We'll get into that one, I'm sure, a long time from now, but we're going to get into it. So anyway, now we're just checking to make sure that this thing works, and yeah, there it is. Comes right out of there. And so I'm blowing the water through. You see all that brown? That's fine. It's not horrible. But the problem is the actual like grit, sediment, like it's like almost like dirt, but it builds up in the iron pipes that are underneath the house. It's old piping. That's just what happens. And I'm not going to sit here and cut all the piping out. It's a Section 8 house. Am I really going to do that? Absolutely not. So anyway, so we get the valve stems on, right? And we're like, we are on the home stretch. We've got this now. But the problem, as you can see, I'm actually unscrewing this, is that I still hear a sound behind it, okay? And I'm like, okay, maybe I forgot a O-ring, or I forgot one of these, whatever, spacers, like that kind of thing. And I'm trying to go through, I have a really myopic, when that means short-sighted, okay, big word, $100,000 word, a very myopic view of what's going on here, instead of being like, maybe there's something else besides the control valve and the stems that are the problem. But Goodman was not thinking that way. He was just trying to be like, okay, we can get in, get out. This actually place already passed inspection. With this problem, passed inspection. Don't ask me how. The lady, I guess, didn't come to the back bathroom to check to make sure the water worked everywhere. She didn't flush the toilet. She didn't turn on the vanity. The vanity was one of those things, like I said, we had to take everything down, like all the way down to the water lines, like coming out and putting new water lines in, because it was just so gummed up. It was ridiculous how gummed up it was. But yeah, so like I said, it was a lot of going and trial and error, but she had already passed this thing. So I have the tenant that's going to move in here. We're waiting on getting paperwork at this point, which she's now in the house, and everything is good, except for the fact that the Birmingham police tried to break down her door because they thought that a murderer was in her house, living in her house. She's not a murderer, so anyway, doesn't matter. So I was trying to get this done so that she could move in. She wouldn't have a problem with the shower, because I already knew she probably would. Oh well. So anyway, now we're taking all this stuff out again. I'm not sure. I'm guessing this is the point where I'm like, oh, maybe I need to put plumber's tape on this stuff, because I keep hearing this noise. And I'm like, okay, obviously the problem is going to be that we need to have plumber's tape on this, or sorry, thread tape. And I'm like, if we get thread tape on it, we won't have any more of these issues. Everyone knows Teflon tape, thread tape, whatever you want to call it. Like that, you put that on and you don't have the problems of water getting past things like this, but you shouldn't have to put thread tape on this. I've never really had to on any other thing when it works, right? But I was like, you know what, whatever. We're gonna try that. Maybe that's the problem. It's just got the threads of the old. This is a very, very old control unit. So again, it could be that could be the problem. I don't know. So at this point, I'm just trying to figure it out. Thread tape is my first go-to on that one. My dad always taught me to use thread tape on things. Of course, do I ever do that? No, not really. But whatever. Yeah, I've been yawning every single video that we've been doing lately, and I'm very sorry about that. But anyway, so thread tape on both of the valve stems, getting them back in, tightening them down, and then we got to turn the water back on. And all we got to do is hear for that sound. And I'm going to give you a spoiler alert. We do hear it again. We hear it again, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to take out this whole control valve, and we're going to take it, and we're going to take it out, put a new one in, and that's going to solve the problem. So to actually get to it, you have to go to the outside of the house. So I don't have my mood for this. This is a new day, actually. I think, yeah, he's not with me. Look at that kitty cat, and it crawls right up. I mean, like, what in the world is going on in these houses? That cat just crawled up. I don't even know. And I actually can hear them now, because like I said, that lady moved out, and I went over to her house the other day with Roberto, and we're just hearing meow, 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 like over and over and over again. And I'm like, told them, they live underneath the house, dude. Don't worry about it. So anyway, now we're back over to the side of the house. We've got the control valve right here. All we gotta do is unscrew it. Thank goodness someone was nice, and what they did was they put PEX connectors with a female adapter on it, so that we don't have to sit here and like do a bunch of rigging and all that stuff. Like I don't have to cut things and put new stuff on. I can just take this off, put the new control on, and we're done. It's super easy. See, Price Fister. I mean, the thing is, like, at this point, I was sitting there baffled, like, why wasn't this working? And let me tell you something. Right at this point, what you should do and what I should have done is I should have gone turn on the water to see what was actually the problem. Because the actual problem was that the hot side water line had a pinhole in it. And that was so even after taking all of this stuff off, which I do here in the rest of the video, I still have the issue of, I still have a problem. And all I needed to do was a little bit more analysis, a little bit more diagnosing would be the word that we would use in the automotive industry. And I wouldn't have had to do any of this stuff. It would have been not necessarily cheaper because those stem valves are like 13 or 14 bucks a piece. So you're talking across the board, it was like what, 30, 40 something dollars. And I think that the new shower control, I think that may have been like 40 or 50 bucks. So I mean, it's at the same price. But the time, right? All I have to do is just put those in. We're good to go. We don't have to worry about it, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm putting in these crummy little project source controls that they're plastic. So they're obviously suck. And they're going to break and they're going to warp after a while because that's what always happens, inevitably. So instead of having the nice, like solid, gritty, old-fashioned Price Pfister ones, I'm going to be putting in a Project Source one, which is great. So whatever. I had to do a little bit of modifying here. I think this was for the downspout. I had to deal with this. And just put it in. Also, my father told me about these internal wrenches, pipe wrenches, where you can put it inside the pipe and it turns it. I am shocked that is in existence. I should probably know about those. He knew about it way before I did. And so I need to actually get some of those very, very soon. This actually, okay, it's for the downspout and for the shower head. So like I said, I knew there was something. I think it was just because it's so much smaller. I'm not sure why I did this, but whatever. It needed to be done, and we had to do it this way. I knew what I was doing. Oh, look, there's Alabama Power outside. Apparently, no one has power over there. I do. Look at me. I'm joking. There was a time, though, I did lose power for like 3 days, and everyone else around me did not lose power, and it really sucked. And it was really like, come on, are you serious? And they just would not fix my power. So, you know what? That goes to them. Suck it. Okay? I'm doing fine with my nice heater and my computer set up and looking out at the snow that's melting and then gonna freeze over tonight. So whatever. Anyway, back to this. Had to rig this up a little bit. It's not that big of a deal. And then I forgot. It was too long. That was right. It was way too long. So I had to go get new things to modify it. So I mean, how many trips to Home Depot / Lowe's am I doing? Like 2 or 3 for this one? I mean, just a lot of time. And, whatever. Life goes on, I suppose. So, again, a lot of work goes into this. And the problem is that there's one little issue that I could have solved very fast. And actually, in this video, you will not see me actually solve the problem. You will see me put in a new shower control. You will see me give you a thumbs up and walk away. And I stopped filming. And then I turned on the water and heard it again. And I walked back out because I had this thing completely open, which was a good thing I did not put it all back together before I opened it up to make sure that it was not leaking. And then I realized, oh my gosh, it's actually leaking from the water line. Wow, Goodman, you're so smart. And like I said, it's one of those things where you need to think a little bit longer. Don't go for the let's throw a new part at it thing. Let's go for the let's think about this. Now, obviously, I would have had to still switch out all of the stems, which we've talked about. But again, it would have saved a lot of time because this took about, an hour and a half to do. Cut all this stuff out, do this, put it all back together, but then also find out the real problem, fix the real problem, and then deal with all this. So, I mean, it's whatever. But we got it done. That's the bigger thing. Or I got it done. My mood really didn't help, right? Was he there for the real fix? No, it was me. It's always Goodman. Goodman is number one. I love these long, drawn-out clips for you guys. I don't know. I'm going to talk to Colby about this because I can talk a lot, but I can't talk that much. I mean, about the same thing over and over again. Also, this is where those internal pipe wrench would really come in handy, is right here, because I'm using channel locks on threads. And again, it's going to be fine, but one day it might not be fine. You never know. So it would be really nice to and I love how there's just a vine growing inside my home. But that's just how life is and how life goes. So anyway, we pop this sucker in, get this thing on. This was the hardest part, was getting the two to line up and getting that bottom downspout on. It wasn't the downspout. It was the hot side. which is the best because like I literally have to cut it anyway. One of those two sides was extremely hard to get in there and to get onto the actual threads. And I'm sitting there like yanking up one hand and like one hand doing this thing, which would have been really nice to have another person there like Mahmoud, but you know, he couldn't work today because of something. It was like a school. School's for losers, okay? The Section 8 life is where it's at. You don't need school for it, all right? You can get away with that. Oh yeah, that's right. I had to take it out of that. That's what I had to do. I remember it was like so much like back and forth. Like, is this gonna work? Is it not gonna work? Whatever. And then getting it into position, and then I was able to go ahead and get this thing turning. And I make it look so much easier than it was. This part took like 20 minutes of me just trying to position this thing in the right way. So don't ever look at things and people on YouTube and be like, oh, they did it so easily, you know what? No, it's not easy. A lot of this stuff is a lot harder, and we're sitting here taking forever. Now you can see we still have the daylight outside because I haven't shut it up yet, because I haven't turned on the water yet. But I'm putting on all the new trim, which the new trim looks amazing. Obviously, we're going to caulk or silicone over the tops of these, make sure everything is working, looking nice. And it does look a lot nicer. I will say this, it does really look a lot nicer. I'm not going to clean that old stuff, so obviously it's going to look older. It's not going to look good. This looks very, 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 very good. So good on me for that, I suppose. And when she walks in, she'll probably be very happy with how it is. So then we get up, we check everything with all my boot marks inside of her brand new tub that I just refinished, and we all remember that. Turn on the water, go in here, and remember, I'm hearing this noise, but I think at this point I was like, I'm so done with this. So turn on the water, and I check everything, and I'm like, all right, it's good. Give it a thumbs up, Goodman, so we can get out of here. But remember, there was a problem. But anyway, you're not going to see me fix it. It was just a little pinhole leak. But anyway, I appreciate you guys watching the video. Thank you so much. Hope you guys had a great holiday season, and we are getting into the new year. I hope everyone stays healthy and not sick, which that would be healthy. But yeah, if you guys have any comments, put them down below. Comment, like, subscribe. I think that liking helps with the algorithm, whatever. That's what everyone else says, so I guess do it. But comment. I like comments. I like responding to them. And if you thought I did a horrible job and I should have probably shown you guys what the real problem was, leave a comment about that. And with that, I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.
This is Goodman back with another Sucker!